loves. It is another day, another vlog, another writing vlog. And today we are working on Distorted Reality, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how much I'm gonna get done because I am tired and definitely still burnt out because my rest for last week was not very restful because I still had to get some work done. And yeah, I am running on edge of burnout and the grace of the Lord because I do not have any strength of my own at the moment, besides just wanting to just call it quits of the week. But I'm trying my best not to, since it's my first week back to work after my week off, so hopefully we can get it done. Yesterday I did some writing. I finished off the 2 chapters of Melories from the last vlog, but I didn't get them. They weren't very long. I think in total the combined both chapters were 4 pages, which isn't bad. Maybe I'll add to them, but they got across what they needed to get across, but I just felt a little bit like, not that they were lacking in the sense that I felt like I should have written more in the scenes, but that they were lacking compared to, I don't want to have it to where there's certain characters to where you're always not getting as much compared to others, because I have noticed some characters I write longer, some characters I don't as much, so maybe I'll add more, maybe I won't, I don't know. That just will have to come to it when I get back to those chapters, so we'll see. I will definitely have to keep in mind to try to write more in her upcoming chapters to kind of compensate of showing hers and other characters' chapters, of actually putting more in their chapters that aren't like the main characters that I write extended chapters for. But yeah, we are working in Distorted Reality today. Hopefully I can get at least 3 chapters done. I'm needing to get Tanner's done. His is the only one in the previous chapters that I've skipped over. I already have his flashback, so I need to get his current with his dream sequence with Madison. And I also finally get to the Monday that I've been trying to get to. And my goal, hopefully, I'm not guaranteeing, hopefully I can get her 2 back to home, because after this Monday chapter, it's probably going to be a few chapters, but after we get through her Monday, we're probably going to jump to the weekend, to her coming home. That was already the goal, was to probably skip. I just wanted to get more so an idea of what's going on, the fact that the dream she's having. I don't think I'll necessarily, maybe I'll do one more dream before the skip, or maybe right after the skip, but I'll probably relatively just like not really have much of a difference, like as far as in, I don't know how I'm gonna do that, because it's not like you're gonna get every single dream she has like you did with, as far as in every time she had a flashback with Peter, that you got those dreams, all the dreams she had. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, so probably not. It's probably just gonna be a mention of the fact that she's still dreaming, or what she's dreaming of, kind of like a rough overview, and not necessarily a detailed for detail what's going on, besides, like I said, probably just one more dream sequence. Probably I'm leaning towards like after the, like into the time jump, like you're getting it would be her going home Saturday possibly, I think it's Saturday, and you would be getting it Saturday morning, or into Saturday morning dream sequence. So I'm not going to say we are finishing it off today, because there are, like I said, it's going to be a few chapters. We're only going to get the morning. My goal is probably get morning, get her coming back, because it's going to be, I have an idea of what I want for the morning. Like, you'll probably get 3 or 4 chapters of her point of view before she ends up going to bed, and you get that time skip. I don't know. It would be a fun idea to kind of do into, like, you get the dreams for her that night into Saturday morning. I don't know how I'll do that. That seems like a fun idea. I don't know. I don't know if I'll do that. I don't know. That kind of seems fun. Like, so we'll see. But yeah, we're going to do that. But the fact that even though it's just one day, I'm doing multiple chapters, which qualify flashbacks. I don't know why I call them flashbacks. And also getting the alternate point of views of every time I get one of her chapters, I kind of try to chip in an alternate point of view. So since she isn't directly interacting with certain characters, except for we are going to get a coffee shop scene. I don't think we're going to get it today, but we'll get, that's when she's going to be interacting with Tanner. So beyond that, like when we aren't necessarily full on interacting with somebody. I'm trying to get a, hey, these characters are still around and here's what they're doing kind of point of view. So yeah, but for today it's going to be that Tanner chapter that I mentioned previously and her morning, and then maybe a flashback, or maybe I'll just skip to her at the coffee shop. I don't know yet. It just depends on how I'm feeling, because like I said, I only got 2 chapters done, relatively short chapters done, but I did have other things I had to get done, which is why I didn't write yesterday of a full writing blog and just did let's finish up these 2 chapters that I wanted to get finished up last time and to get finished up last time. But beyond that, let's get started with the day. And it's about that time. Breakfast is had, and I did a little bit of homeschool stuff, going ahead and reviewing social studies to make sure that it's all up to par, because we are learning Native Americans this year, and I will say I've been learning a lot about Native Americans. That is actually pretty not, I wouldn't say like, there's a lot of new things that I'm learning, and it's actually pretty entertaining with some things, but I'm just trying to make sure I go through it, because out of all the subjects, I feel like social studies is definitely one that I have to keep a little bit more keen eye on, at least for this go around, because of the fact that you're learning about different cultures and different societal things, and just like, I just want to make sure that if there's anything my kid is learning, I want to make sure that it's up to par, and if there's anything I need to explain better, or just like definitely take the wheel more so, I just want to make sure that that is had, and I do have the luxury of doing that for homeschooling. So that is what I did for a little bit, and I went ahead and added some more music to my playlist, and that has definitely been something that is fun, and I found some good music and artists that I'm excited about. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and write. We are starting probably Maddie's point of view, and I'm definitely on the burnt out side. I do want to definitely get into Tanner's, but I think starting with Maddie's is gonna be the way to go. Probably get at least a chapter or 2. I'm probably just gonna work in the main timeline, not work in the flashbacks right now. If a flashback idea comes, then it comes. If it doesn't, it does not. So yeah, we're probably gonna get her morning into her going to the cafe, because she's got to make a stop to her grandparents' house, and then going to the cafe afterwards before she goes back to her cousins is where I'm aiming to get. So let's go ahead and get on into it, because I can't think of much more to talk about that I haven't already talked about, because like I said, I'm definitely burnt out. Like, barely burnt out, but definitely still there. So my brain is not braining the way it needs to brain. So let's go ahead and get started. And it's the midday break. It's definitely late, a little bit later than I usually want it. It's been this late the past few times. But yeah, I'm about to eat, and then go ahead and start again. I did get into Tanner's chapter, so I'm on my second chapter. I'm hoping to be able to get done with his. His is just basically a rehash of his point of view of the dream sequence, and then I'm gonna go ahead. I say dream sequence, but just the dream, his point of view of the dream. And then go ahead and probably go into Madison's point of view. I'm leaning towards maybe just the flashback of the one I just finished, because I'm not thinking I have a full chapter worth in me right now, and I'd rather go ahead and just get a chapter done. So if anything, maybe just the flashback, because it'd be relatively short, and that'd be just 3 chapters today. I assumed it wasn't going to be much, which is fine. I really wanted to get at least 4 or more, but if 3 is all we're getting, then 3 is all we're getting. So I do technically have an extra chapter done, because when I did the Lost Kids in Tanner's point of view, I did do his chapter POV of a flat, like, because what I'm doing, I think I mentioned it before, unintentionally I started doing this, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with it. I had it to where it would be basically, when you start with his point of view of at the clinic, it's going in sequence of chronological order, to where when you read the Lost Kids, you're able to, for one, mostly pin where each point of view is or should be, but having it to where it's beneficial to have it in distorted reality, to where if it was in the Lost Kids, it's more or less added fluff to where you basically got the idea. So adding to it was fine enough not to, but still having his point of view of certain scenes or certain chapters. So it worked out, and honestly, it actually worked out also to where the point of view that I just finished for his, it's basically the weekend away that I've been working on. It's a point of view of his version of their time in the rec room, and it actually works out well as far as, and it paralleled well, and I wasn't intentionally doing that, but it did work out well, and it seems to be that's the case, to where a lot of times it's working out well of the point of view that I'm getting from him, which is why it was unintentionally sequenced, is because I was just pointing and picking spots that worked out well for paralleling to the flashback, and now that I'm reversing it to where I'm more or less doing a sequence order purposely, to where it's unintentionally working out well. So I like that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up his chapter and then try to get the flashback. I'm thinking of having a flashback of Madison visiting Kay, like when Alice is a baby, and kind of dive into that to where to be just more or less so a short snippet, maybe a couple pages or so, because that's all I got in me. I'm pretty sure at this point it's just a couple pages, which I'm thankful tomorrow is just Peter's Shadow, which has normally not been a super long writing sessions, and I definitely need a not super long, especially if I'm going to be able to dive into at least 4 chapters of the Lost Kids come Wednesday. So that's it. Let's go ahead and finish the writing. Well, it is the end of the writing day, and it is definitely later than it needs to be. But hey, it finally hit me of getting to a writing streak that I wanted to be this morning. Oh, I realized what it is. I had the coffee, and it seems like the caffeine definitely helped out, because I just put 2 and 2 together, because it wasn't until afterwards. I was thinking it was because, ironically enough, it was a flashback scene that I was expecting to be just a short snippet, and it seemed like what I needed, because it wasn't mundane, but it was just like, it was a nice chapter, as far as in, it definitely was longer than either one of the chapters beforehand. I hit 12 pages, and that was almost half of the count is that one chapter. But I thought it was fun. It got a little bit more of revealed, and it's funny how I always try to figure out what's going to be a mid-novel or a mid-novella, and as far as in, this definitely makes me want to, like, as far as in, I already know Peter's Shadow 1.5. I'm thinking about maybe doing kind of like a, after the series ends, having like a 0.5, and do like a gathering of all the Peter memories, and have that as kind of like their own combination of books, but it would be like as far as in all the ones you've already read. So that's why it's gonna wait. But as far as in Peter's Shadow 1.5, Wendy's Nightmare 2.5, and then Old Memories is gonna be when she's 14. That's 3.5. Then The Summer She's 17 with Liam would be 4.5, and then like I have in mind up to, I want to say 6.5, and then I think this little nitbit of after her episode will put in quotations, like she kind of puts in quotations, will probably be what it is of like her kind of recovery after the fact. Could be 7.5. I know for mentally I have up to 10 books pre-planned, as far as in at least the timeline, not saying point for point, plot for plot, but I do know like the gist of it's going to take up to 10 books, not counting the midquels. And so I'm going to have that, and I'm just trying to, it would be nice to have them all the way up to every book gets a midquel, but that's probably, at this point, I only know up to 7. So that's what I got so far. I don't know if whatever. So this gave me the idea for that one. So that's going to be fun. And then I guess time will tell for the rest of them. But yeah, it was a nice little bit of a chapter as far as in just a little bit of getting more between her and Kate, and kind of showing a little bit more of Maddie's past flawed self. Not that she's not flawed now. She's definitely very flawed. I try to have all my characters flawed in a sense of showing that they're realistic, and showing a bit of her getting called out, I thought was like, yeah, this does make sense. But then I knew that Madison's not necessarily, she can be stubborn, but when she's called out on something to where even if she wouldn't necessarily want to admit that she's wrong, she is willing enough for most things to admit when she's wrong about something. It's like she's not someone who, even though she doesn't want to say sorry, she's willing to understand that she needs to say sorry. So she's willing to bite that bitter pill if she needs to. And so kind of showing that to where she gets called out on something and then realizing like this is a flawed moment of getting straightened about something, and then kind of showing a self-correction of that makes sense for Madison as far as in she might be flawed in this area, and also showing how like she would go about it, of not necessarily going about it in a way of I don't need to apologize. Like she's not that kind of person, but she is the kind of person that might need to be called out to be able to see where she's mistakenly like doing the wrong thing. But I thought going down that route made sense, because I didn't want to have it to where it was unrealistic for her character, like trying to show how her character would go about it, even being in a stubborn moment of maybe when she's younger she would have been like, what do I need to apologize for? But her being a little bit older, her starting to come to terms with, yeah, I wasn't the best person growing up, I might not have been the worst person, but I definitely, yeah, there's some mistakes I've made in my life that I should probably own up to. So beyond that, it was definitely, and then I know that I've had in the past, which I'm trying to be with Tanner and Madison. I'm trying to show both the fact of how he, when they were younger, did definitely have feelings for her, and which you will see in The Lost Kids of them kind of coming that way, but then also showing the fact of I'm trying to be clear of, even though I know that the chances are people are going to ship whoever they ship no matter what, but showing a platonic relationship between them now, of like showing like, I think that's so sweet. Trying to be not in your face of a he does not have romantic feelings for her anymore, but also showing in the sense of just because he doesn't have romantic feelings for her doesn't mean he doesn't care about her, doesn't care for her, and kind of show how sometimes you don't need a romantic partner in a sense. How sometimes in some situations, in a lot of situations, to where sometimes you just need a friend to lean on in this situation, quite literally. But having, like, I'm so I love their platonic relationship together, and like I have other ideas, like scene ideas in my mind, and just like I definitely am so as excited and as fun as I find the romantic pairings to be and the romantic scenes of characters. I love having just like different dynamics, like even just Kay and Madison, like showing different cute moments of them kind of having sisterly friend, like best friend sisters kind of relationship, even though they're cousins, not biologically, but nonetheless. Like I like showing different dynamics of relationships in general that aren't necessarily romantic. So I'm enjoying showing their kind of platonic match, and I'm excited to be able to explore that more of outside of the dreams. And I think that that's going to be so sweet because I think they can both use each other in this time, and I'm just excited about it. So yeah, that is it for this vlog, and that is it for today. And I have to maintain the chaos. So I pray blessings upon you all. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whenever it is for you. It is night for me, so good night. It is evening for me, so good evening to you. Goodbye.